How is it going, everybody? Ian back with another reading update. Just got done with work. I'm going to be a little quiet because I think the walls in this new place are kind of thin, so I don't want to disrupt anybody. Um, it is currently 2 o'clock. I just got done, 2 o'clock in the morning. Just got done with work. And we're going to run through some books here. First off, what am I currently reading? Critical Mass by David Hagberg. They've got the front cover here with a bunch of information on here that I don't really want to show. It's just a bunch of library. It's an interlibrary loan, so it just looks ugly and just covering the cover here. Critical Mass by David Hagberg. This is his fourth novel. Fourth or fifth, I can't remember. Anyway, this one is basically the atomic bombs are dropped on Japan, and a survivor of that bombing wants revenge. And he takes it out on Kirk McGarvey. Kirk McGarvey is he's the Jack Reacher of this series. He's the Jack Ryan. Is that Jack Ryan? I think it's Jack Ryan. Yeah, he's the protagonist throughout all the David Hagberg books. So this man Nakamura, I believe his name is, he hires a ex-Nazi super bad guy to basically kill this Kirk Garvey. I'm not sure why he's targeting Kirk. Don't know yet. Kind of into the book. So, yeah, it's just basically, I think this is 1992, I believe. So it's got that 1992, the 1990s action, thriller stuff like that. So I'm enjoying it. Got to be in the mood for those. I am also reading Percy Jackson and the Battle of the Labyrinth by Rick Riordan. Overall, I would say I'm not terribly much enjoying this. I just want to get it under my belt, saying I read the Percy Jackson series. If I was younger, reading these growing up, probably would have liked them a lot more. But they're just okay to me. What am I? Oh, and then I am listening to Vince Flynn's The Last Man. I currently have about 2 hours left of it. I can't even tell you where we are in this series. This one I'm pretty sure is the last one Vince Flynn actually wrote. Vince Flynn did pass away from cancer. I want to say pancreas cancer or something back in 2012, I think. Something like that, 2013, right in that area. But he passed away, and then another author, Mark Graney, kind of took over the series. Mark Graney, if you know, Mark Graney is the Gray Man series, which I have one coming up here. So yeah, we got The Last Man I'm into. All right, what have I read this past few weeks? I read Clive Cussler and Dirk Cussler's Arctic Drift. And this did not need to be 500, damn near 600 pages. This could have been a 300-page book, and it would have been much more enjoyable. I didn't enjoy this. It's just too sloggy, and that's kind of what you're getting with Clive Cussler. At this point, I don't know how much writing he's doing, because Dirk Cussler, his kid, I don't know when he started really taking over, but yeah, didn't enjoy that one too much. Next up, I'll talk about that one later. Speaking of Mark Graney, I forgot about this guy. Sentinel. This is the number 2 in the Armored series he's got. This what's his name? Josh Duffy, I believe his name is. Yeah, Josh Duffy is like a protection guy, specialist. This one, basically, they are in Africa. Is it Africa? I'm pretty sure. It's been a while, like 4 weeks, three weeks since I read this. Yeah, they're in Ghana. They're in Ghana protecting his asset. That he's a diplomatic security, I should say. He's protecting his asset, and there's a Chinese rogue agent who kind of wants to do a little coup in Ghana, and so he hires some mercenaries from Duffy's past, and he hires them to basically sow chaos, and Duffy has to deal with it. But very enjoyable, very enjoyable. And might as well get that out of the way. Well, no, I'm not, because I got this one to talk about. Oh, I got two more to talk about. I read this one. Well, I listened to it. This was a blast. The Hatching by Ezekiel Boone. I don't know if I would have read this book, but just listening to it while at work, going for walks, I loved it. This reminded me, because I'm not really into spiders. They like books about like giant mutant spiders. I'm not really into it. That's just not my. I don't know. But for some reason, this hit. This is basically what it sounds like is deep underground. Spiders have hatched and have gone to war with the world. Basically, they are just trying to take over the world. And this is a trilogy. And what I'm going to say, this reminded me a lot of World War Z by Max Brooks. If you like that, you might like this. It's kind of the same thing. Not the same thing like storytelling wise. This is an actual like, I know World War Z is more like a history telling. This is an actual like story. You're following a bunch of characters. And I think that's what I liked about this was you're following a bunch of different characters around the world and how they are dealing with this infestation, if you will. But speaking of that, I have the next one loaded up on my audiobook Libby app, Skitter. Not 100% sure what this is about. It's just going to take place. It's just going to continue on with this invasion. But yeah, Ezekiel Boone, Skitter. And the final book I read was The Crimson Campaign by Brian McClellan. This was a lot of fun. This I believe was a 4-star read for me. I cannot wait. I have the other books in the series just waiting to be just devoured. Love this. Got this for $1. Speaking of that, here, hold on. I forgot to tell you guys. Well, I'll show this one first. This is next up to be read. Mark Greaney, Midnight Black. This is the second to latest Gray Man series. It might be the latest. I'm not sure. It's pretty new, but we got Midnight Black that I will be reading. Not 100% sure what this is about yet. All right, anyway. I told you guys that I got like these books and a few books over here. These were $1 at my library. They have a big, huge table full of books. It says 4 for $1, or obviously $1 for 1. You know, whatever. On your honor kind of system, I guess. And then they have a PayPal app there too. Always pay for your books, people. Well, at the library, support your local libraries. If you're not renting them and they are for sale, buy them and cherish them and give the money to the library. The library needs it. The library has a lot of great resources for people. And all the books you can find basically any book with the interlibrary loan system if your library has that. It's a great tool. Anyway, so yeah, I found these for $1. Today, and I don't have it anymore, and I'll explain why. I was in there and I saw this weird cover for Game of Thrones. And come to find out, it was one of the UK paperbacks in 2001 or something like that, 2002, I think we figured it out. And I just picked it up, and I was like, wow, it's a thick one too, it was a thick book. I picked it up, and I just was trying to figure out what edition it was when it came out. And I flipped through it, and all of a sudden, there was a note to somebody, and then, what did it say? It said, it was written, it said, "May your summers be long, and your winters be short. And it was signed. And I was like, who the fuck would sign this? What is this? And then it dawned on me, like, oh, maybe the author, George R. R. Martin, would have signed it. So I looked it up. I looked at his signature online. I took a bunch of pictures of it, sent it to some buddies of mine who's one of my work friends is a huge George R. R. Martin fan. And it's like, is this legit? What is this? And for everything we could figure out, it was. The library just must have, we don't need another copy of Game of Thrones, and just put it on the quarter table. Not realizing that it might have been signed by Martin himself. So I bought it because that's kind of cool, right? You know, I'm not the person who's named in the book. So, but whatever. It's a signed copy, George R. R. Martin. And then I just gave it to the work friend because he's really into Game of Thrones and whatever. I've kind of given up hope on ever. I've read the first Game of Thrones and I don't want to read something that's just not going to get finished and just be disappointed. Like, even though everyone says like you should read it just because it's good for what it is, it's like, I just don't want an incomplete story. That's just, I don't like that feeling. So if he finishes it, yeah, I'll pick him up again and read him. But that was pretty cool. I thought, if it's legit, but yeah, so that's a pretty cool story. Anyway, I'm done rambling. Goodbye, everybody.